Listen up, everyone, because we need to dive right into this. I'm issuing an urgent Code Ninja security advisory. Right now, we are sitting at a completely critical juncture in the ongoing battle to secure our endpoint environments. We're looking at CVE 2026-41091. This is a zero-day vulnerability, and it's specifically targeting the Microsoft Defender malware protection engine. As a security researcher, my one and only directive in this explainer is to arm you with the unvarnished, factual intelligence you need right this second. Make no mistake, this is an active threat. It's being exploded in the wild as we speak, and it is literally designed to completely bypass your local security architecture. So my goal today? We need to force a vendor patch and get you the exact immediate mitigation steps you need to lock down your perimeter. Honestly, the sheer velocity of this threat is just staggering. May 20th, 2026 was not a slow burn by any stretch. It was an absolute all-hands-on-deck fire drill. And remember, prior to this date, threat actors were already actively weaponizing this zero-day in the wild. When the alarm finally got pulled at 9:16 a.m., Microsoft formally submitted the vendor disclosure to the National Vulnerability Database. Just hours later, by 2:16 p.m., CISA began tracking it and heavily signaling its severity. By 3 p.m., an actual U.S. federal mandate drops, and literally 6 minutes later, at 3:06 p.m., NIST completed its initial analysis. Going from an initial public disclosure to a strict federal mandate in under 6 hours, that is practically unheard of in our industry. That speed right there, that tells you absolutely everything you need to know about how severe this exploit is.
All right, let's move into Section 1, Security Comms Check.
To maintain this secure communication channel between us, go ahead and hit that subscribe button for @CyberTech79 and make sure you enable your notifications. Seriously, frame this as a baseline security necessity for real-time intelligence. Threat actors are moving incredibly fast, which means we need to move faster. And once you've secured that channel, hit the like button. In networking terms, consider that's your ACK packet, your formal acknowledgement of receipt for this critical intel. Now, I really need some telemetry from the field. Are you patched? Or are you vulnerable? Drop a comment below with your network status right now. Are you currently auditing your systems? Have you actually deployed the fixes yet? By reporting your status in the comments, you're helping all of us gauge the true blast radius of the zero-day across the entire community. Moving on to Section 2, Threat Metrics and Mechanics. So the CVSS version 3.1 base score sits at 7.8, which officially categorizes this as a high-severity threat. But look, don't let the fact that it's not a 9 or a 10 lull you into some false sense of security. The devil is absolutely in the details of how this score is calculated. When you actually dig into the mechanics, that 7.8 reveals a truly devastating capability. Now, I know this string of letters might look a bit like alphabet soup, but it's actually the exact blueprint of the attack vector. Let's translate this. AVL means attack vector local, so the attacker does need local access. PRL means privileges required low. Basically, any standard, unprivileged user count will do the trick. But here is the critical part. UIN. User interaction, none. 0. If a threat actor gains basic, low-level access to your machine, they do not need you to click a link, they don't need you to open a file or approve a prompt. They can execute this exploit totally silently, resulting in high impacts to confidentiality, integrity, and availability. That's the CHIH and AH right at the end there. So you're probably wondering how they actually pull this off. The vulnerability is formally classified as CWE-59, improper link resolution before file access. In the industry, we usually just call this link following. In plain terms, an authorized attacker with just basic, low-level local access can exploit how Microsoft Defender resolves file links. By manipulating that specific process, the attacker instantly elevates their compromised, unprivileged account straight up to NT authority system. That is complete, total, unfettered control over the host machine. It's game over. Let's jump to Section 3, Active Exploitation Intelligence. Okay, here is your target list for triage. Your security teams need to immediately verify the version of the Microsoft malware protection engine running across your fleets. The vulnerable bounds are explicitly laid out here. Any system running version 1.1.26030.3008 up to, but excluding, 1.1.26040.8 is vulnerable. Let me repeat that. If your automated vulnerability scanners or your manual audits pull up these versions anywhere in your environment, you are actively exposed right now. And I want to be crystal clear on this point. This is not some theoretical academic exercise cooked up in a lab. Threat actors are actively weaponizing this link-following vulnerability in real-world campaigns today. Because of this active exploitation, CISA immediately slapped CVE 2026-41091 onto their known exploited vulnerabilities catalog, or KEV. On top of that, Tenable Research went ahead and classified this as a vulnerability of interest, which triggers massive industry-wide warnings. Make no mistake, this threat is live.
Bringing us to Section 4, Mitigation and Remediation Mandate.
Look, I see way too many organizations out there trying to rely on custom alerting for this kind of thing. Let me sharply contrast these two approaches for you. Basic detections are critically, fundamentally insufficient against this zero-day. Why? Because this exploit operates entirely within the trusted context of the malware protection engine itself. Your behavioral alerts are likely going to be completely blind to it until it's way too late. The absolute necessity here is the immediate deployment of vendor-supplied patches. Updating that engine is literally the only definitive mitigation to disrupt this specific attack chain. Now, if you need a little leverage to convince your executive team to authorize emergency patching, look absolutely no further than this quote right from the CISA BOD 22-1 federal mandate. It plainly states you must apply mitigations per vendor instructions or discontinue use of the product if mitigations are unavailable. Just let that sink in for a second. The U.S. government is legally requiring federal civilian agencies to potentially rip out their core antivirus protection entirely if they cannot patch it. That right there shows you the sheer severity of a system-level privilege escalation. And guys, there is absolutely no time to delay on this. The federal mandate established a strict, hard deadline of June 3, 2026 for full compliance. Now, while this deadline technically only applies to federal civilian executive branch agencies, as a security researcher, I'm strongly urging every single private sector organization watching this explainer to adopt June 3rd as your absolute maximum allowable window for exposure. Every single day you wait past that date is just playing Russian roulette with your network's integrity. Finally, Section 5, Disclosure Ethics and Sign-Off. You might be asking, why do we push this kind of unvarnished intelligence out to the public so aggressively? Well, it's simple. Users need to know to protect their systems. When an exploit is already being leveraged by threat actors in the wild, playing hide-and-seek doesn't work. Obscurity is not security, it's a massive liability. Defenders simply cannot protect against a threat they can't see, measure, and fully understand. So we disclose it, we document it, and we force the fixes to secure the perimeter for everyone. So I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. If your primary defense engine, the very thing meant to keep you safe, can be turned into an attacker's ultimate weapon without a single user even clicking a malicious link, how deep does your defense in depth truly go? Go patch your systems, audit your networks, and most importantly, stay secure.